So by now, everyone and their mama have seen Dragon Ball Super episode 128. You either joined me for the live stream or in one way or another, you saw the insanity that was that episode. I mean, again, if you've seen the stream, I was flipping out. I was screaming. It was like, yo. Now, let's talk a lot about something that I feel as though, as a whole, Dragon Ball Super, while it takes a lot of flack and people shit on it all the time, the end of the Black Arc and, you know, the Tournament of Power having problems and everything like that. But I feel as though one thing that Dragon Ball Super has done very, very well is to focus in on characters and do something that Dragon Ball would do here or there. But back in the day, like with DBZ and whatnot, you would see it here and there for the most part, maybe a slight bit, especially with Vegeta. Dragon Ball Super really took Vegeta's character by the helms and decided with this series and everything moving forward with Vegeta's character to use, in a sense, him and where he's been as not necessarily ploy, but a great way of showing development within his character. I mean, for crying out loud, we already saw the incredible development from the beginning of Z till the end. When he first showed up with Nappa, he was a piece of crap. By the end, he was admitting Goku's better and he was a family man. This one took it even further with showcasing just how much family is important to him. Essentially, where Vegeta is right now in life is finally where Goku was, you know, all those years ago. He's finally very, very accepting of his life. He loves his life. He loves his family. I think they pushed the Kaba stuff extremely hard, which again really makes me think that the movie is going to be very heavily with, you know, the Universe 6 Saiyans and Planet Sodal, Salad, whatever. Like, I think definitely that's going to be a pivotal part, because in this episode, yet again, you see Vegeta, when he's thinking about the people he cares about, thinking about Kaba too. And that's crazy. It's like, I guess because Vegeta has been so long without his race, you know, his Saiyan race, and, you know, he's always been a very, very proud prince, that finally getting some of his people again has helped to change him too. You know what I'm saying? It helped to better his character. He wanted to now be essentially a master as time grew of meeting Kaba and shit like that, because it helps him feel as though, yo, I never got to be and I'll never get to be essentially the prince of all Saiyans, but at the very least I can help out Saiyans somewhere else. So seeing the Kaba little part in there too was really interesting. And again, Dragon Ball Super as a whole, wrapping it up, I didn't even think we were going to get this moment. I thought Vegeta's peak and we were getting no more. I think I even titled the video the final Vegeta moment or something like that, was going to be when he had the big transformation, his limit breaker form that he obtained and whatnot. I thought that was going to be it. And okay, Vegeta had his hoorah, he really kicked some ass, and he got rid of Topo. That was it. This episode, they want to push a little further, and I think that's where some of the backlash is coming in. They felt as though Vegeta already had his moments, throwing him in the situation where half of it was really good, and then half of it was like almost a snuff film, in a sense of just seeing Jiren beating the dog tar out of Vegeta to a point where I felt bad. I felt humiliated for Vegeta to a certain point throughout the beating he was taking from Jiren, just punches to the face non-stop, and seeing Vegeta in that form, it's a rarity, but it was 100% homage or homage to the Kid Buu fight. Vegeta versus Jiren, it was not identical, because what Goku was doing, for example, is a little bit different. In the Kid Buu stuff, Goku was charging up to try and get, you know, his power back up, or his ki, his energy, whatever, so that he could fight Kid Buu at max in Super Saiyan 3, and we knew that, you know, of course, eventually found out that had problems, because he didn't realize the difference of being Super Saiyan 3 in the living world and being dead. You know, that was what Goku was doing. In this one, obviously, Goku is down. He's not down for the count, but he's down. He can't really do too much to help Vegeta during all of this situation of him fighting against Jiren. But still, nevertheless, it's like, okay, Goku is distracted for one reason or another. And there's a point where Vegeta's standing almost identical to how he was standing when he was taking that severe butt whipping from Kid Buu. So it was definitely homage. And Dragon Ball Super, I think a lot of what it's done, and I'm talking about the series as a whole throughout this episode, simply because, again, we're reaching towards the climax. There's only about a month left of this series, month and some change and whatnot, and obviously we don't even have a new episode next week. It's the following week for 129. But Dragon Ball Super has definitely tried to do some things different than Dragon Ball Z. People argue Dragon Ball Super is the closest thing to Z in comparison to like GT or whatever, but Dragon Ball Super has definitely taken a different approach with many different aspects. Again, looking at Vegeta's character, they really went the extra limit. Some would argue that they didn't like that Vegeta was embarrassed, that it should have been the end with the Topo fight. Maybe he should have got eliminated then, so we didn't have to see Vegeta get embarrassed and shit. I think it further added to his development. We've had incredible ground broken with Vegeta. Some people, again, dislike it, which I definitely think, if you're a fan of character development, if you're a fan of seeing people naturally change because of their lifestyle and shit like that, it's perfect for Vegeta. He went from, he was a space pirate essentially killing people to being a family man because he was in that atmosphere for so long. Just think about it for a second. He went to Earth, right after the Frieza saga, when everybody was transported to Earth. He's been there on and off. I think there was filler. I don't know exactly how much of it was canon about Vegeta leaving Earth when he left Earth to go train to try and get Super Saiyan or whatever. But for the most part, since the Frieza saga, Vegeta's been an Earthling. After the Cell games, he left for a bit. We get a 7-year time skip. He was for 7 years on Earth. I don't know how many years passed in between the Frieza stuff and the end of the Cell games, but you add 7 years there, a couple of years from that time point between the end of Frieza and then going into Cell and whatnot before the 7-year time skip. Then we have all the years that have passed during Dragon Ball Super. He's been an Earthling for a decade or more at the very least. So yeah, you're going to see some changes like that. Some people are going to hate it. They hated it from the very beginning with Battle of Gods. When people saw Vegeta dancing and singing, they said that's not Vegeta. But the thing is, you're right. That isn't Vegeta. That's the new Vegeta, and it makes sense. That's Vegeta when time passes, who he becomes. People look at GT, which we can sit here and argue all day regarding GT and what it is and what it means to the fandom, what it means to the canon-wise or whatever, but they want Vegeta to be how he was, or even, he kept on being like how he was in Z, into GT with the anger and shit like that. They wanted more of that. I think it was great that Vegeta opened up, and he wasn't just continuing to be kind of playing that same card of just being bitter. He moved past being bitter. He's worked with Goku so many times. Who would have ever thought throughout Dragon Ball Super that Vegeta would ever be training with Goku? Back then, he didn't even want to train with his own son, let alone with Kakarot, the person that he wants to surpass so badly. So Vegeta's character in this episode, it felt like it all came together. I would argue it was excessive. They didn't need to give him that much of an ass whipping. They wanted to prove a point very, very clearly that yeah, Vegeta is no match and Goku's the only one that can do it. Honestly, we knew from day one when we saw in the trailers Goku fighting Jiren, Jiren was going to be a big deal. And then as time went on and we learned about Jiren and still seeing him in the opening fighting Goku, you could assume that Jiren was going to be the final baddie anyway. So in terms of like throwing us off or being a nice big twist of how the Tournament of Power was going to all end, a lot of us could easily assume that. So it wasn't anything like, oh, breaking ground with new shit or a big transformation of a change or whatnot. So we didn't get that in that sense. Now I gotta ask a big question, people, and I gotta ask because I don't know anymore. I'm thinking of hitting up the milk company, right? I'm gonna hit up the milk company. We're gonna go with the cartons and we're gonna put a missing persons poster for Frieza. What is going on? And I think that that's something very central as well throughout these episodes, his lack of presence. If Frieza, let's just say for example, Goku and Jiren both knock each other out, Frieza walks up to both of them and throws them out of the ring, that's it. We're all screwed. Frieza's getting the Super Dragon Ball wish. He's going to wish for immortality or whatever, possibly to be stronger than all the gods. Maybe this could be a big setup in the final episode. Maybe Goku versus Jiren will be wrapped up with 129, 130. Frieza does some plot twist and tries to be the big villain, and he gets either hammered down or something big in a quick fight. I wish there was more time, because if they're going to do that route or go that route of Frieza essentially getting incredible power, one episode to deal with it is absolutely not going to be enough. So unfortunately, Frieza, whatever he does do, is going to be bodied very quickly, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he's not going to be able to do too much for too long because the series is almost over anyway. We're on 129 with the next episode, 130, and 131 is the finale. And again, I'm almost certain that 131, majority of it is probably not going to take place in the Tournament of Power. Maybe it'll be like the tournament just ended. It begins with, okay, the tournament ended, they're talking, they're saying their goodbyes to Zeno and whatnot, and then the episode obviously is going to eventually lead them towards Earth and things of that nature. So Frieza, whatever he's going to do, it has to happen very soon. But I'm honestly just a little bit shocked at Toei and how they're kind of like completely ignoring Frieza when this is the final battle. And it definitely showcases that they did plan to do something pretty huge with Frieza from the jump. So it's interesting to see where it's all going to go with Frieza. And then of course the big enchilada, the end of the episode, which everybody and their mother knows right now. Goku started slowly transforming into mastered Ultra Instinct, a silver-haired Super Saiyan transformation essentially. I can't wait for that. I know it's a reskin, a recolor. Everybody, I know. And in fact, I probably prefer the Ultra Instinct normal look to the, mastered Ultra Instinct, but it's still pretty cool. It's Super Saiyan Silver, fuck it. It kind of reminds me of, what was it, AF, where they had Super Saiyan 5 and he had long Super Saiyan 3 silver hair or some shit like that. Kind of reminds me of that, but maybe like a base version of Super Saiyan 5. So interesting stuff there. And last but not least, one final thing I do want to talk about, because we talked talked about the Vegeta versus Jiren thing, which was majority of the episode. Talked about Goku getting up. We talked about Frieza being missing. We talked about Jiren. Just want to quickly throw in there as well. Jiren, his character has been shown through and through. The trust begets quote or whatnot was very, very powerful in showcasing Jiren is really hurt from his past. His past defines him right now, and I think his character development after taking that ass whipping from Goku, or getting an ass whipping, shall I say. He hasn't taken one yet, but let's be real. He's about to catch that L. He's about to catch these Super Saiyan mastered Ultra Instinct hands or whatever. He could potentially see the light, and possibly even, depending on what Frieza does, it could move Jiren in a way to where his character is going to go from here on out as a person. Think about it. If Frieza possibly helps Goku in the end, and Jiren looks at it as that's the nastiest piece of shit in the world, but Goku still could have trusted him, maybe there's hope. That could change Jiren right there. Maybe I actually said what the ending of the Tournament of Power is going to be. Frieza helps Goku with one final trusting blow or some shit. Who knows? But Frieza's nasty, and I could see him laughing as Goku and Jiren are completely knocked on the floor, thinking he got this, and something's going to happen that's going to be absolutely crazy. But one final thing, Beerus. It seems as though, which this is going to be a very, very pivotal thing, because one of the biggest things about Dragon Ball Super since the introduction and the conception of Battle of Gods, that the entirety of the series, once we got the TV anime, was surrounded by, you know, the premise essentially was Goku trying to surpass the gods, in particular Beerus. That's one of his biggest goals. In this episode, it was very, very interesting, and I feel as though what I could gather from it in regards to Beerus, the way he was acting when he seen that Goku was mastering Ultra Instinct. He was seemingly being able to do this technique that Beerus doesn't even have mastered yet, let alone he's seemingly mastering it. Towards the end of the episode, he actually hit Jiren so hard, his eyes was popping out of his head and shit like that. Beerus said, let's see what this could do, with a real angry and serious face, almost as if he's looking at it like, this motherfucker might have surpassed me. So the big question that a lot of people have been asking since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, after the Beerus arc or after Battle of Gods, when will Goku surpass Beerus? Will he surpass Beerus? It's starting to look more and more like this is the moment that he surpassed Beerus, and they might not need to fight. Beerus might tell him, why are we going to fight? I think you've already surpassed me. There's a possibility there, or he could think it to himself, but allow Goku to think, you know, you got a long way to go to catch up to me, to further push Goku to keep on training and advancing. There's more universes out there that we don't know about, with possibly stronger fighters than even Jiren. Goku needs to keep on advancing if they're going to protect this side of, you know, the universe, or this universe in particular. So, going to be interesting to see from here on out if Goku has truly surpassed Beerus, and that was kind of foreshadowing or hinting towards that. Curious what you guys think about it. The big question, Vegeta, how did you feel about his elimination? A lot of people hated it. A lot of people loved it because of the sentimental stuff. The sentimental stuff did get me. I just think the abuse was too long. Like the ass whipping, it was like if, I don't know, this motherfucker was a blood and walked into the Crip neighborhood and he just took an ass whipping and a half. So crazy stuff there. Curious your thoughts on that. Where's Frieza? What do you think Frieza's role is going to be in these final few episodes of Dragon Ball Super? You think Jiren's going to learn and change his ways? And your overall thoughts of where this is going? Mastered Ultra Instinct. Super Saiyan Silver. Dragon Ball Super is crazy. Has Goku surpassed Beerus? But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say, or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. You can do a little stalking on my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.